Version number 5.
So, when last we left off, we had just finished up a decent portion of the PAs. We have some PAs to do here, and then we will be done and ready to continue on with the plot. We got all the side quests done that we can.
Let's reconvene in front of the
There's probably a way to complete all of the side quests that we have, but I don't know how I would do it. I don't know where to get these things, so...
What exactly are the corrupt?
Let me explain. Regular animals, such as wolves, birds, and so on, are somehow imbued with marks resembling signets, which turns them into vicious beasts. The corrupt also carry diseases, I heard. At least, that's how people say the disease that killed my parents and Fiddly's mother spread.
Would you like to find out if that was really the cause?
Ah, I never thought to find out, but maybe I do. To be honest, I may have been too preoccupied with the past. I need to be stronger and start looking ahead.
Interesting. It's Cat. So the corrupted are like...
Well, if it isn't Victor, did you come here looking for me?
I'm just passing through.
Then this must be fate. Draw your sword.
What do you mean, fate?
Ooh, I forgot the Major's waiting for me. Ha! We'll have to put this duel on hold for a while. See you around. Toodaloo. Bye-bye for now.
As tempestuous as always.
Okay. But yeah, so the corrupted are basically the result of the same kind of testing that's been done to Relia. So that's kind of interesting. Interesting indeed.
Okay then, let's reconvene in front of the inn. Pardon me.
So 3 different events that are... Oh,
What's
God.
the deal, Victor? Why didn't you come? You promised you would.
What promise is this?
Only our 33rd duel? Don't tell me you forgot this memorable event.
Sorry, but it seems I have. When did I make that promise?
When you were drinking with my squad. You promised before you passed out in the plaza the next morning. In my dream.
If only I had the amount of freedom you do.
Okay. So,
Pardon me.
he had a dream. And he knows it was a dream. Okay.
My budget's set, but what to spend it on? Something cute or something practical? Something cute or something practical? Something cute or something cute? I guess that settles it. Something cute for sure.
Sounds reasonable. I mean, the practical
Hey,
stuff
Vicky.
is being handled by
What
the
are you
party
doing?
finances.
Oh, Fiddly. If you're looking for a place to eat, this restaurant is all right. The salad was delicious. They've got A, B, and C courses, but I'd skip the B course if I were you. Pasta's mediocre. Besides, A's main dish is fried, and they give you so much of it. Also, the soup's the same for all 3 of them.
Hang on a second. What's all this about courses? Just how much have you been eating?
Well, ladies eat for half price today, so I decided to try them all.
Jeez. Wow. I tend to eat 2 meals a day, so I eat large portions. Like, I often will buy 2 meals. And I always find it interesting when they have characters in anime where it's like the quantity of food that they consume makes me go, well then, okay. I don't meet a lot of people who eat more food than I do in a given sitting. So it's very interesting when I run into characters that do. It's like, well, that's a lot of food that you're eating. Then again, maybe it isn't. It depends on how big those portions are, I guess.
I wonder if I have too much muscle. Shaping up is great and all, but I don't want to get too bulky. I really think my arms look too much like a man's. My stomach muscles are getting more defined too. and my shoulders are a little broader than I'd like.
There's no way on earth that she has too much muscle.
Don't stop now. You could stand to gain even more muscle, in my opinion.
That's right. A master swordsman like you would think that way. It is true, though, that the more muscle you have, the better your chances in a fight. Wait a second. Don't tell me this is a fetish of yours.
It's not.
Yeah, you're 100% right. What was I even thinking?
I don't think finding muscle to be attractive is a fetish. I think that that's just standard. Like, regardless of whether someone is a man or a woman, if they have muscle, it's just more attractive. They're more attractive with muscle. Like, I don't, the whole, like, you know, desiring a woman to be scrawny and not have muscle is, I think that's a fetish. That's like a weird, like, fetish that people have, because, like, when people are in better shape, they just look better. You know, I mean, obviously there's like limits to how much muscle you would be packing on, but unless you're doing like extreme weightlifting, you're not going to be reaching that. Like with her activities, she's not going to get that type of muscle, right? But like, and that's true for both men and women, right? Like, there's a certain degree of muscle that is 100% just always going to make you look better. And then after that point, it's a matter of personal taste. But I don't know. I feel like the idea that women shouldn't have muscle is a very, like, I think it's a kind of like a disturbing thing for society to, like, try to push on women that they shouldn't have muscle, because it's like, they look better with the muscle, so stop trying to tell them that they shouldn't have it. Anyway, random tirade.
Reek of alcohol. This planet's awash in fine alcoholic beverages. Fruit wine, fermented liquors, and any other type you could ever want.
The climate around this area is mild, too.
Next to Trakur's harsh environment, Rasulia is a veritable paradise. That's why conflicts break out.
It's not our fault that their land isn't fertile.
I know that all too well. We've been in the same position, too.
How? By the time, when you can travel around to different galaxies, I think that you don't have to worry about
Can I
resource
ask you
shortages.
something? If someone gave you a stuffed animal, would that make you happy?
I think it depends on the animal, honestly. Interestingly enough, I actually do sleep with one. I have used the same, like, lion stuffed animal as a pillow since I was about 4 years old. And I've brought it with me everywhere, and it's just my pillow. It's in a pillowcase. I have a lion in a pillowcase, and that's my pillow. Because it's like the perfect pillow for me, right? It's like exactly the right height. When I use other pillows, it's like, you know, I don't. So anyway, so like it's kind of tempting to just go with this one, but just because of that. But I don't know. I don't think that just getting any random stuffed animal is, you know, necessarily a good gift. I think it just kind of depends on whether, like, they give you a stuffed animal that makes sense. Like, if somebody gave me a stuffed tonberry, I would be very happy.
You never know. I personally think it depends on the animal. Maybe if the person likes animals, and you give them one of their favorites.
One of their favorites? You mean like a cat? Research is key, like marketing 101. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think that it's a very, like, because I also have like a boo. I got a big boo that I got when I was I was helping a friend, like, with they had like a little like stand where they were selling that kind of stuff, and so she gave me this big boo doll thing, and I have that because it's just I find the idea of a big boo doll incredibly amusing. So I actually don't know where that is right now, now I think about it. I think that's in my wardrobe. You know, it occurs to me that I should find the right place to put it in the wardrobe, because it's like a ghost, right? So I could put it in the wardrobe in such a way that it like it's not really a jump scare because it's not scary. It's Big Boo from Mario, but that kind of, I don't know. Now I have that idea in my head, and I should do it, or find somewhere else in the house to put it where it can just surprise people. Like, wait, why is there a ghost here? Anyway. Ooh, does she have a crush on Victor? Is that who she is?
Dog.
Do you like dogs?
No. I see them as rivals.
Rivals? I'll just pretend I didn't hear that.
Anything to report? No? Alright then. I see dogs as rivals? That is a strange thing to say. I wonder if she's related to some character from Star Ocean 4. There's a lot of like throwbacks in this series where they refer back to characters from from like earlier parts in the series and stuff like that. So like the Kenny family is very important in the Star Ocean series, for instance, and they've made a couple of comments that imply to me that Anne is like someone's, you know, granddaughter that's important, but I don't recognize who they're talking about.
Sometimes I get to wondering, if you were able to live your life over again, what discipline would you like to pursue?
Beauty. Let's see. I feel like, to me, he seems to be good at what he does, right? He's relatively young to be the head of a dojo. He seems to be good at what he does. I don't know why he would want to change to, like, if he was going to do it all over again, I would think that he would probably be happy with what he's done with his life.
Swordsmanship, of course.
So, you are indeed proud of your swordsmanship. Enough of this nonsense about other lives. This is the only path we need tread.
I think it's good to be, you know, in a position in your life where you're like, you know, if I was going to do it all over again, I'd change some things, but the general trajectory of my life,
It's so cute.
keep it the same.
What a miraculous coincidence. This splotch on the wall is adorable.
Really?
Yes, the fact that I have no idea what you're, like, talking about is very confusing. I feel like Anne probably has some sort of secret that we're gonna find out eventually, because there's a huge amount of like Anne PAs, and I'm very curious what's going on with her. Like we're seeing a lot of glimpses into Anne's character, much more so than like Fiore. We haven't gotten practically any PAs with Fiore.
Okay then. Let's reconvene in front of the inn.
We've gotten some with Miki, but there's like every time we do a PA, there's a PA with Anne. Oh look, fancy that. The only person who has any PAs also happens to be the person who we've done a million PAs with already. Hello?
This necklace with the teardrop charm would suit Miki perfectly.
All right.
And this grandiose ring just screams Fiore from all angles.
Hey, what are you looking at?
Accessories. Out of everything here, what do you think I should get, Fidel?
Clearly the cat earrings.
There's no question. The cat earrings, of course.
Huh, he likes the same things as me. I'm so happy.
What? That was a weird thing to say out loud. And it's not about what I like or what Fidel likes. It's about knowing that she likes it. So, unless she was talking about for him, no, because he doesn't wear earrings. So she wasn't talking about for him. She's talking about for herself. So obviously you should get the thing that you're gonna like the most. And it's like, there's cat earrings, and she's obsessed with cats. So clearly, go with the cat earrings. If you're giving someone advice about what they should do or what they should buy based off of your preferences and not based off of your understanding of their preferences, you're doing it wrong. So it looks like that was the last PA here. And I just want to make sure that, okay. I haven't seen any evidence of PAs unlocking missions.
I hate to admit it, but I think I've put on weight.
Huh. You don't look like you have.
With such tight clothes, finding ones that fit after your body shape's changed must be tough.
Got that all covered. I have heaps of the same outfit in multiple sizes.
Heaps? Of that one outfit?
I can't imagine. You'd think that she'd just use magic to just adjust the dimensions of it or something, but I guess it's silly to think that that's like a very, like, fine-tuned process that is not necessarily easy to do. Hey Mole, how's it going? I just finished up the PAs and I'm now taking the slightly long route because I want to get access to some mithril along the way to continue on with the plot. So the boss that I was fighting on Friday, I'm now finally going to fight again after doing a 5-hour stream on Monday. Excuse me. Hey, guess what? I got the hammer.
A decisive win with minimal casualties.
Hammer time. Oh shit! I didn't actually.
As close to perfect as it gets.
Okay, well the healing thing is still active, so I can just go over there. Ice gem obtained. So which way is it? Okay, I just have to go right.
We have to drop on it.
That wasn't even worth the effort.
That was it.
Can't get any better than that.
Shiny chamomile and cinnamon.
Such easy prey.
Punch time! Punch!
Why can't they all be this easy? More challenges lie ahead.
Seems like a mermaid would have a
The more
difficult
skillful I
time
get, the more charming I become.
in the ice. Because they're called snow mermaids, but they're still clearly made out of, you know, liquid water. Okay, so we can save the game. We got ourselves some mana for her. And I think that we should have a pretty easy time blowing up the other stuff. Do I want to go in here? Because I got destroyed by that phoenix. I didn't get it anywhere near dead. I think I'm going to just pretend that I didn't see it. Don't tell anyone. This is just between me and you. Alright, so...
A decisive win with minimal
Can I say
casualties.
I'm a professional?
Hardly worth the effort.
Double slash.
Can't get any better than that.
Already?
Okay, so we're actually going to be using
That wasn't even worth the effort.
the weak version instead of the strong version for a while, just to get the EXP values up.
This should be a good one.
A decisive win with minimal
What can I
casualties.
say? I'm a perfectionist.
And bloop. Silver, which is not mithril, unfortunately. Run, 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 run. Yeah, I don't think we'll have too much trouble with the next boss. If we have any trouble with the next boss, I'll be very surprised, because we've got like 50% higher HP. I've got, I think, dramatically more damage. I don't think Anne had this weapon before. Maybe she did and I just wasn't using her properly. But she's got absurd DPS now, so I should be able to just blow things up. We've obviously got Fairy Light as well, which should help out. Assuming that the AI even casts it. It's possible that it won't bother casting it, but I can always swap over to her and do it that way. So, we are now in the correct zone. We need laser oscillators. We'll see if we can track some of those down.
This won't be a fight.
More challenges lie
Can't get any better than that.
Feels good to be so strong.
A decisive win with
So we
minimal
got some lizard
casualties.
skin, we got 2 Damascus steel.
Why can't they all do this?
What can I say? I'm a perfectionist.
Some iron, some coal, and some gold. Now, if I recall correctly, there is... Unfortunately,
That wasn't even worth the effort.
Can't get any better than
it's
that.
not high enough to prevent that from... There's a healing point in the dungeon, so I should be able to keep myself in good shape.
Close to perfect as it gets.
That was it?
A warrior must continue to hone his skills.
A warrior must continue to hone his skills. It's nice having the stuff that encourages the protagonist to use his break, his guard break stuff, because it gives me several openings that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Strikes first. Hand.
What can I say? I'm a perfectionist.
That was it.
Plenty of Damascus steel to be had.
Looks like I'm gaining on my father.
Looks like I'm gaining on my father. Who knows? Maybe you've surpassed your father already.
That wasn't even worth the effort.
A decisive win.
And there is a chest here that I need to go after. Jump across.
Don't take me so lightly.
As close to perfect as it gets.
Spread out.
Stack in one pile, friends. That's how I like it.
Can't get any better than the casualties.
They all just jumped right in.
Hopefully I can be of assistance.
Glorious. Shit.
More challenges lie ahead.
Okay, so we need to follow this path. And we're almost there, right? Yeah. We'll see what kind of items that we get off of this. Probably nothing interesting, but, you know, we can pretend. Oh my goodness. It's a thing that gives me a skill. Boop.
Don't have to drop on me. Hardly worth the effort.
Boop. Integrity and faithlessness. Save complete. Okay, let's do this. I'm remembering that the best way to preserve my hand is to...
That wasn't even worth the effort.
Don't take me
This
so
is
lightly.
working just fine. So, yep, here's the heal point. Boop. So, we've finally gotten back here, and we can start doing some of this business. And hopefully, we will be able to successfully blow these things up. I'm still not together. I don't. Oh, there are really a lot of these.
What can I say? I'm a perfectionist.
Hardly worth the effort.
Okay, so we should be able to just blow our way through here, get things done.
This should hurt.
Mark.
That wasn't even worth the effort.
What? It's over
Can't
already?
get any better than that.
I do like how they're called riflemen, even though they don't have rifles. Like, the fact that there are people that have rifles and they're called rangers, and there are people that do not have rifles and they're called riflemen, just for whatever reason, it makes me very happy. I'm very amused by it. Like, somebody didn't think
Why
this
can't
through.
they all be this easy?
Hardly worth the
Ooh,
effort.
we got 2 reinforced gunpowder. Those things were actually worth a huge amount of experience compared to the soldiers. Excuse me. It's like much larger packs of soldiers are getting substantially less XP.
A decisive win with minimal casualties.
What can I say? I'm a perfectionist.
What can I say? I'm a perfectionist. Let's take a look. If there were any of those ball things, I'd want to just go in there and kill them quick. Get EXPs. Okay, so we have made it to the bottom of the facility. It's a very small dungeon, honestly. I do like how the roundabout route that you have to take leads you back toward the start. So, once you've been through here once, it's easy to get down to the bottom again. Holy shit, that's a lot of money. Oh, shit! I
This might
forgot.
do the job.
Try it.
No! Anne! No!
Someone's coming.
Somebody else be useful for once! No! Life is sad.
Alright then. Yeah? Finish up some
Bring it on, you hunky chump!
Get ready for some pain.
That is a lot of stats.
Order is none too pleasing.
Oh, that
It's
was
gonna
the...
take a little more time. Just be patient.
Think I'll let you get away? Double slap! Think I'll let you get away?
I can keep spamming the heavy version. What I want. Okay, so we got these things. These things hit like trucks.
Double slap!
Oh, that's cool looking.
The security system on this is more complicated than anticipated. At least I'm free.
I hate to interrupt your fun, but hurry it up.
This is gonna sting.
Fine times, all about emotion, not physical strength.
I've got more of that than anyone I know.
Why don't you show the line as hard as the rest of us, Emerson?
Double slap! Think I'll let you get away? Think I'll let you get away? Double slap! Double slap! Double slap!
Yeah, it's much easier when she has 16,000 HP to play with.
We have access.
It's a lot harder for them to kill her. Even if she does have
Everyone,
halved
please follow
defense
my
right now.
lead. Quickly now.
What's
That's
going
a
on?
water.
Another trap?
Really is
Everything.
here.
She's here inside this laboratory?
Yes, she is. One floor below us.
Okay, since it's been so long, I'm actually gonna, like, not... Oh, I guess I wasn't skipping those cutscenes anyway. Now that I think about it, the cutscenes are not... They're not usually skippable the way they are in the other one. Okay, so we've got the boss
That's all we're
fight.
up against.
I'm gonna go ahead and blow up the little ones first. She's stunned. Oh my goodness. That heal is so big. There's a 4,000 HP heal on the entire party at once. And I'm actually out of range right now of its most dangerous move. Hey, 100 hit combo.
Another try.
Now my clothes are all dirty.
Unlocked a new role. Let's see what the new role is. Stun supporter. Normal attack stun rate plus 4%. That's actually pretty cool. Who uses a lot of normal attack? I feel like keeping Mono Maverick is a good idea because I would like to get something that gives regen. Okay, I'm going to take off Guardian for him because I don't think that it has the utility that I need off that. Greatly impair own judgment. This is something that you definitely only want to have on the character that you're controlling. I don't know what impair own judgment means, but I imagine that it's going to influence their chance to smack enemies with the wrong type of...
Freelia!
My word! What happened to your hair? How could anyone do something like this to a young girl? It's entirely unforgivable.
At least she's safe. Don't worry. You're okay now.
It's like she's reverted to her previous self.
If I were abducted and imprisoned in some underground facility, I'd act the same way. Who wouldn't be traumatized by that? Let's get to know each other again. No pressure.
I don't mean to cut your reunion short, but this place isn't safe. Let's get out of here.
Please, hold on a second.
A tracking chip.
I won't make that mistake again.
Let's go.
All right.
So Aurelia is back in the party. And we can now leave.
Captain, in addition to the emergency exit through which we came, there appear to be transport devices located on each and every floor of this complex.
Great. Fidel, get on finding one of those transporters. We'll get out of this hellhole yet.
Wait, seriously? Is that a... Think of this. I don't think... I'm not going to go through this one. I'm gonna go to the next floor because there was an item in here that I didn't get, so I'm gonna grab that item first. Oh jeez, I love that. No! Stop it stunning me! Oh god. Okay, so maybe I should... Note to self. Use strong attacks. Okay. I said there was a teleport on every floor.
Decisive win.
Hardly
Minimal
worth the
casualties.
effort.
A warrior must continue to hone his skill.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I didn't look properly. So, time to save the game. I don't think I saved the first time when I came through here because I'm a dope. But we can get this game saved And we can move on. Oh, so this just lets me go to the other floors. I'm gonna check B2. I think that this doesn't help me any. This is, yeah, this is a place that I've been to before. Just checking to see if one of the floors had like a. Ooh. Like a designated elevator area that's separate from the rest.
Can't get any better than that.
Can't get any better than that. Okay, so I'm wondering if those dragon things are the things that I get the laser from, but I think those are corrupt. They might be machines. But whichever type they are, I don't think I have the item drop skill for them.
So glad to finally be out of there.
Let's go back to Eastern Trade first.
Fiore, I'm ready. I'm fine.
Bloop. Wow, 1 SP. Amazing.
Do you think that Kronos is after Relia because they think she personally is important to them? It isn't just her power they want, is it?
My guess is they don't even see her as a human being.
Don't get mad at Anne now. She's only telling the truth. I know the way she put it might have been a bit cold, but it's not as if she agrees with him.
I'm not mad. I just couldn't help myself when I got to thinking about...
Thinking about what?
that if Relia were able to get her signets removed, then maybe these people would lose interest in her.
Ah, like expunction?
Expunction?
People are not born with signaturgical powers. In fact, no one can use a signet until it is imbued by another. Conversely, there's also a technique to remove them. Such removal is termed expunction.
We don't want this power. Not one bit.
Did she say we? The Institute has the necessary equipment, and they'll let me use it.
It's a long road from Eastern Trade to Santarol. I advocate getting everything we need here first, after which we can head out. Does that sound good to everyone?
It sounds great.
So that's really interesting.
You on board with moving that?
All the way.
Why can't they all be here? Hardly worth the effort.
Gunpowder.
Don't be fooled.
That's all we're up against.
Decisive win, minimal casualties.
More challenges lie ahead.
Yeah. So my overall bar length has shrunk because I've gotten myself smashed a few times, but I have more EXP gain, so I've lost a
Hardly worth the effort.
pretty large portion of the full game that I had, which is good because it just means that I have more space for stacking EXP.
Decisive win, minimal casualties.
That wasn't even worth the effort.
More challenges lie ahead.
Now I can protect
Hopefully I can be of assistance.
One thing that's actually really nice is
This is gonna sting.
like it is.
Wait! Don't take me so lightly!
Can't get any better than that.
Hardly worth the effort.
Something. There's something nice somewhere. Who knows what? Oh, one of the nice things about doing the weak attacks is that there's actually very little, like, in the way of break mechanics for it. So you don't. Oh god. You don't take damage to your meter anytime you take a hit. You only get the meter broken when you do something that is like if you use like a strong attack and then you're hit by a weak attack, right? So the paper rock scissors thing. So what that means is that if you're just spamming the weak attacks, enemy attacks are actually not a problem. The only way that you can have a problem is if you actually both hit an enemy that's guarding and then have it counterattack you, right? So you can build up pretty safely. Like I've gotten hit quite a few times and not had any problems. But I think that you lose substantially more from like an individual hit with it than you do with the strong attacks. Getting hit by a weak attack.
Master. Well now, what is the issue with supplies?
That won't be a problem.
Treatment of the wounded?
Our medical corps is seeing to them, but no soldiers are too injured to...
No, I was speaking of the townspeople.
Oh, of course you were. I'll have the medical corps look at them right away.
Master, your son has...
Now's not the time.
Let me just say he's performing admirably.
That's good to hear. Now, if you have nothing further, I'll be going.
I don't, sir.
Well, I bet really is quite pooped from that big adventure. How about we go back to the inn and get some rest? What an idea! I'm not very tired. You just haven't noticed yet. Come on now, let's get you to bed.
But I'm not sleepy. We're putting you in bed because we have a plot relevant thing that needs to happen right now, whether you like it or not, Missy. You are going to see the plot get advanced. Ooh. Sandfish? Ooh, Encyclopedia Corruptionum. So that's definitely something we want to do. Cunning Zertails. Where are these? In the Trakehurst Lottery? Does not sound familiar. So that's probably the next dungeon. If it doesn't sound familiar, then it's probably something. I'll even pay for the room because I'm such a nice guy.
Must be anxious or something. Maybe a breath of fresh air would do me some good.
No. You. Nothing is eating me. Why? Why would you think something's eating me? I'm not a prey animal. Insolence! None of the locals seem to be spies. It's because we don't have Nell.
Who's there? What are you doing out this late?
That's my line.
I talked to Victor earlier. He told me you become quite the swordsman.
You've never praised me before.
Yes, I have. You've just forgotten.
No, I'd never. All you ever did was get mad at me.
That's so now. What's gonna happen to that little girl?
We're still not sure, but one thing is, we're gonna give it all we've got to keep her safe.
To think that I'd hear you talk about protecting people.
That statement is proof that you're now able to care for those around you, to think of people other than yourself. The desire to shelter the weak from danger is one that blossoms in all people eventually, and it seems it has now blossomed in you, son. I'd say you've grown into a fine example of a man.
Something here's wrong. Find Victor immediately and tell him to go on reconnaissance. Then go back to your friends and help them prepare for the worst. Got it?
Got it.
Oh no. They just casually, like, resolved the subplot with him and his father not getting along. I have a suspicion that his father's gonna die. It's like, oh, well, that subplot's done. Now that we've, you know, made up, time to kill off the character, we're done with him.
Your dad wants you to go on reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance? He said that? I'll gather my subordinates and leave right away.
Uh-oh. Is this some sort of...
Fiddly!
It isn't Kronos, is it? We're under attack! The enemy's upon us!
We're out.
Since we've opened this can of worms, time to get down and dirty.
Okay, let's save it up. Yeah, he looked old. I was not expecting the dad to look that old. Like, his face is very, like, he's probably in his 60s or 70s, which surprises me, because I thought he must have been pretty old when he had this kid. Because this kid is in his 20s, right? Like, early 20s? 3-second victory! So since that thing's just gonna keep respawning. Which is unfortunate. I'd much prefer that they not respawn, because I like the idea of being able to, like, clear out and protect the other non-protagonist peoples. Resurrection elixir. Okay, so clearly this is not the way that I'm supposed to get to there.
Their commander's here.
Hi, Commander.
You still have an army? Never! I'll bury every last one of your bricks with my own hands if I have to. Don't make this a war of attrition. Why do you sit out sending your troops to their death? Off the old timer. Once you do that, its lackeys won't be far behind. That victory will be ours. Ammunition from front. Your head's mine, dog.
This is not going to be taking damage.
I see you live up to your nickname of Bloodbath. The commander and Julia He's locked us up. Don't tell me what we can and can't do. How do you not understand? Nothing but a war of attrition. Exactly. The only time you truly lose is when you give up. You monster. Out of my way. You really messed up now.
I guess not.
Out of my way. Get ready for the game. Retreat! Retreat! This isn't over yet. No, not by a long shot. Time to retake the lead in this clash. Relia, I won't! So, maiden, you're the one Kronos is chasing around. Don't get near us! Don't want to listen? Then consider his lifeblood spilled. Dad, no! If only you'd listened to me, this wouldn't have happened. All right now, don't try anything funny. This guy's my leverage, so I'm taking him with me. Stay back. It's okay. Don't worry about me. Shut your mouth! Yes. And now for my first demand. Let's see. How about you pack up and scram by sunrise? That should be enough for now. I'll let your imaginations run wild about the others.
I've always found those kinds of scenes to be very clunky in video games. Because people have been pointing guns at me this whole time.
I should have been watching Relia more closely.
Let's go after her right now.
Not so fast. What if the enemy were to discover us?
They won't if we act now.
What?
Have any idea where they might have gone?
There's the old execution site to the northwest they've been using as a camp.
What an eerie place to choose for a camp.
It's where all the criminals in the country used to be disposed of. But from the accounts we've heard, the government supposedly abandoned it a long time ago.
Then, that's where we'll head.
I would like to accompany you as well.
Lieutenant?
And count us in too.
As you have no official directive to go there, such actions would constitute a breach of conduct. I could never ask that of you.
Come on!
That's an order.
What's an order?
Understood.
Lieutenant, please bring Advisor Camus home safe.
Good luck, sir.
Let's get going, Victor. You won't be going as Lieutenant Oakville of the Central Rasulian Army, but as Victor, a friend and fellow disciple of my father, right?
That's exactly right. Lead the way, my brethren of the blade.
I know we can save him.
All right, let's get to it.
But yeah, I always find that kind of stuff very clunky. I don't know why they tend to do that, because there's much better ways to do it than to have like a fight, and then you're having a fight and everything is normal, and then it sort of draws you completely out of the experience to say like, oh, well, this person pointed a gun at you, so suddenly guns are super dangerous, even though people have been shooting you this entire time and nobody gives a crap. So, like, the same thing happened in Final Fantasy X. There's a point where it's like you fight your way through swarms of people with guns who are shooting you this whole time, and then you're basically held hostage at gunpoint, and it's like, but what? And so anyway, but like for this scene, for instance, what they could have done to do basically the same thing is all they have to do is somehow separate the party. They have to do something like, oh, you know, Relia actually was exhausted, and so she is like asleep in the inn. Party gets separated because you're trying to protect the town, and then they get hold of Relia when she's not, you know, with the party, or something along those lines, right? Like, or you fight a battle that you're legitimately like you lose the fight, and then because you lose the fight, that's why, you know, like making it a fight that's just an unwinnable fight is an example. It's harder to do unwinnable fights, I think, in this series because the power escalation can get pretty crazy. But it's certainly something you can do. But anyway, there's other ways of doing it, and I've always found, like, when video games try to emulate scenes from movies, it always falls really, it rings hollow. And those kinds of scenes where somebody's pointing a gun at you or someone else, and you just have to do what they say because they're pointing a gun at someone, they just fall apart. They don't fit the narrative that's being told by these stories. And since they don't really fit the narrative that's being told by these stories, it's like you should be doing something else. But it's basically, you know, copying scenes that you've seen in movies 1,000 times. So video games and movies are different mediums, and they have different tendencies and different tropes that and different things that work well in them versus things that just sort of are like, that didn't really make sense, sorry. But yeah, that's a very, very common thing to see in video game writing, and, like, you know, games that are, you know, very good. It's not like it's something that's like, oh well, only a hack would write this. It's like happens all the time. So I'm just gonna
Enemy elimination 6.
So here's a question. I can actually go back into Eastern Tracur, so I'm going to do that quick to turn this in, because if I run into any corruption enemies in this new place, then I can get a higher drop rate for them. With a more than 95% chance of victory. Boom.
Close to perfect as it gets.
More challenge.
Not ready to retire yet.
These adversaries pose correctly.
Our victories were won.
That wasn't even worth the effort.
Hardly worth the effort.
It's always good when you hit someone that's guarding and they get stunned so they can't counter you. Yeah, Hammer of Might is really sexy. Though, to be fair, I mean, her attack power is just so ridiculously high that even if she wasn't using Hammer of Might, she'd be just blowing through things with her punches. So, wrong way. We're gonna go back to this thing, turn in the assassination quest. Corruptology. Okay. Should I? Excuse me.
Oh yeah! Look at me now!
Okay, so not only did we get Corruptology, we also capped it out so that we can get the most value there. Now, I'm getting huge amounts of skill points now, so I can start just capping stuff out pretty casually without worrying too much about not having enough to do something important.
Can't get any better than that.
I like how it drops its guard right as I smash into it.
That was it. More challenges lie ahead.
Alright, so how far? Okay. So the other nice thing is that now, when I go back into that cave, pretty much everything in that cave is corrupt. So I'll be able to just accumulate these resources very, very fast.
Quick! We have the advantage!
As close to perfect as it gets.
Hardly worth the effort.
Double slap!
That wasn't even worth the
Can I say I'm
Gerald's here. I have a suspicion that I don't think that I came this way before. I know that I didn't because there was a chest here. I think that this is where I was supposed to get
Why can't they all be?
the laurel.
Can't get any better than that.
I think that over here, and there's different enemies now, so it's gonna be hard to tell. Though maybe there aren't. This might be the same enemies that were here before. But the rest of this area, I think, has some differences in what's lying around. So I might not be able to get the tree thing now, but I think this is where I was supposed to come for it. There's probably some tree around here that drops laurel.
Take advantage of this! That was a piece of cake.
That was it? Hopefully I could be of assistance now.
Yeah, I just completely forgot to come up here.
More
229%.
challenges lie ahead.
Not too shabby.
That's it.
Let's go. Aurelia's waiting for us in there.
Okay, so this is interesting. There's multiple heal points in this place. I wonder what it's called.
Hardly worth the effort.
I'm gonna guess that this is probably locked. Yep. So that's locked. Can't go in that way.
Is this all we're up against?
That wasn't even worth the effort.
More challenges lie ahead.
This should be a good You thought this might be take anymore.
Alright, so we've gotten all of the achievements for finishing battles quickly now because of the fact that we got into a battle with just like one enemy and poked it. So we are slowly but surely starting to accumulate the majority of the battle trophies that are non-specific. I do still need to get the defeat 5 foes at once. Excuse me. I have an okay idea of how I'll do that, but unfortunately because things are scaling, like, I can't fight low-level enemies anymore. So I'll have to figure out how that works. You know what I'm actually curious about? Yeah, I guess there's no status. Right? Yes, there is. And no, doesn't look like you could... I don't see multiple outfits to choose for characters. I don't see any way to do that, so that's too bad. So we got some cunning mertails. These are the things that we have to focus on.
As close to perfect as it gets.
Can't get any better than that.
Nice. So this is...
That wasn't even worth the effort.
A decisive win with
More
minimal
challenges
casualties.
lie ahead.
Mirage Road. %20 of damage taken minus 20%. That's not too bad.
That was a piece of cake.
What? Oh, Eddie?
Oh, I'm all sleep well.
love learning.
We have more than a 95% chance of victory.
I need to keep an eye on the time, actually, because I actually do need them reasonably early today.
That wasn't even worth the effort.
10:30.
What can I say?
I'd say I can probably finish this dungeon and then I actually have to end anyway, because I have company coming today that I need to prepare the house for.
Preemptive strike, go!
It's nice being able to do this without having to come back here. Being able to do it on the first trip.
close to perfect as it gets.
Another triumph.
Enemy
Ghost
elimination
soul.
successful.
Okay. I decided to go to the bunker, and all I got was this thing. Because Ghost Souls drop off a substantially lower level and weaker skeleton enemies, so it's just really funny to be like, okay, well, I guess I got that. Root for that.
A decisive win with minimal casualties.
Can't get any better than that.
Ooh, Alistair. Whoa, normal attack, insta-kill chance, plus 1%. Speaking of which, didn't I have a... But I like the idea of her being a berserker who simultaneously doesn't necessarily make the most sensible decisions, but her, like, reckless slaughter basically scares the shit out of the enemies, and so they make bad decisions as well. I'm very curious how the judgment system works. Like, it seems reasonably complicated. Like, deciding what to do at any given time seems like a non-easy decision, so I'm wondering how the judgment stat determines, like, what they're going to do.
What can I say? I'm a
More
professional.
challenges lie ahead. Ooh, feels good to be so.
Because I feel like calculating the optimal thing to do at any given time is something that, like, humans are pretty good at. I don't feel like computers are good at handling quite that many variables all at once. Like, if you ever play a game that's meant to be like a PvP game, it really becomes obvious, like, how difficult it is to make AI that's actually on par with, like, player skill when it comes to any sort of, like a turn-based game is easy, but as soon as it's requiring, like, real-time, like, decision-making, computers start to fall behind because there's just too many things that they can do at any given second to keep track of it all. Whereas we are very tightly, you know, made machines for the express purpose of murder and survival. It's what we do. So, so we're able to handle a lot of input very effectively.
Don't take me so lightly!
A decisive win with minimal casualties.
Can't take anymore.
What? Over already?
Why can't they all be this easy?
Yeah, it looks like I actually missed an offshoot that probably has an item.
Hardly one.
Close to perfect as it gets. A decisive win with minimal casualty. And without limits.
The question is, do I want to go back for that? I don't think so. Okay,
Looks like I'm gaining on my father.
yeah, I don't really want to just go back there because of the fact that the enemies that are in here don't feel like they're that valuable to me. Like, I don't feel like they're valuable enough for me to go fight my way through them. And I'm hoping that later on, like, more valuable enemies will be spawned, and then I'll be sort of happy to kill my way through them. I just don't feel like I'm getting any new shinies.
Really?
Master.
I like how they left his sword on. Like, why would you not take away his sword?
It's a trap! They're all over the place! How rude! You just had to go and ruin the production by tattling, didn't you? Well, it had a stupid story anyway. A son thinking he could just walk into our lair and save his father? No wonder they're both going to die. Kill them!
Get that, Aurelia!
Will do. Ice needle.
Oh, that's
No fear!
fine. I'll do it.
This is ridiculous! Surrender! Just make us! Fire! Shoot to kill! What? Father!
Oh no!
The once great bloodbaths pierced to pieces. At last we know which side'll be bested. Okay, men. Withdraw!
We used plot bullets. They used plot bullets twice in a row. I find that very sad.
This isn't happening! Emerson, can't you guys cure him like you did with Miki?
No, we can't.
Why not?
We have neither our ship nor the right equipment like we did before.
Go.
Dad!
Protect.
I'm so sorry you had to protect Relia for me. I'm sorry, Dad.
No, Fiddly. At times like this, you should say...
Thank you so much, Dad.
You protect me? I'm sorry. Thank you.
War calls.
Everyone else went to go fight.
I don't want to leave his side.
I know. Fiddly, you're not gonna join them? Don't push yourself. You've tried hard enough already. No one will get mad at you if you leave the fighting to others this once. Hear that? Doesn't sound like the battle will end anytime soon. You should stay close to Pop's side, for his sake.
Oh, I think I was in control there.
He doesn't regret his decision.
I didn't realize I was in control of the character. I needed to move. So, sorry.
Are you sure you're all right? If you get overwhelmed, just say the word.
You've matured enough to live up to you and your father.
I'm terribly sorry you couldn't do anything.
Stay strong and persevere. You're the only one who can carry on your father's wishes.
But I don't feel like they did a very good job of setting that up. Or doing the payoff there.
Annihilate them!
I kind of feel like the entire purpose of that whole situation was to set up the kill now that they had, like, used the character and finished with him. And it was a little too blatant for my purpose. Like, we're literally in the exact same place fighting the same person again.
I won't lose! It's you!
Like, there's been no plot progress whatsoever other than to kill that one character, who honestly wasn't a terribly important character to begin with. Like,
So I have seen like
How could I? Unleash the Retreat! Retreat!
We did it. Right? We may have avenged my father, but that won't bring him back.
I think that I'd hear you talk about protecting people. That statement is proof that you're now able to care for those around you, to think of people other than yourself. The desire to shelter the weak from danger is one that blossoms in all people eventually. I'd say you've grown into a fine example of a man.
it's like literally every voice line that he's had in the entire game.
Dad!
Protect!
Dad wouldn't want me to mourn his death. That would only hinder me from walking the path he worked his whole life to lead me down.
I wanted to give you this earlier. It was your father's. Now you deserve to have it.
But don't worry, it's not very important. Thus the native Signavon. Okay, so we got some salmon meunier, and we can continue on. Still don't have a laurel tree, but that's okay. And we've got 11,000 skill points. Not too shabby. Oh yes, I was gonna look at my weapons. So Insignavon. Well, that is a pretty decent upgrade. So where am I supposed to go now? I'm supposed to go this way. Yeah, they did rush things with that character. Like, I feel like he needed more build up to that. Because I literally called it like,
I
oh,
would like to come with you.
We would love to have you, but what about the army?
As there will be no large-scale operations for the time being, I received permission to escort Lady Brunelli to her homeland.
What's this? The righteous lieutenant finagled his way into an army-sponsored trip?
I'm sorry about what happened to Master Camuse. I may not have been able to protect him. I vow I'll protect you.
Thanks for the sentiment, but at the same time, Relia is the one we should all be protecting.
Ah, good point.
to Santa roll.
Like, it was a little too, like, spontaneous where it's just like, oh, well, we'd better wrap up this, you know, father-son conflict plot now so that we can murder off the father. And yeah, I feel like if you dropped the entire trip, like that entire section, if that was dropped, it would, from a practical standpoint, have no impact on the plot. there's no impact on the plot to just not killing off the kid's father and just having him never really show up again. We wouldn't notice. Like, we wouldn't care. He's not really relevant to the plot. The fact that he's not getting along with his father is not, like... I don't think it's an important aspect of his character. If that makes any sense? Like, the fact that he's not getting along with his father is completely tangential to the plot. And, like, you could easily just not build on that at all. And it makes no meaningful difference. So...
Close to perfect as it gets.
Why can't they over?
So, I don't know. But it was a relatively short segment. So we can continue on now and move on with our lives. Kind of feel like maybe they put that in there because they felt like they had to, because it really felt tacked on compared to everything else, where it was like completely paint by numbers. Like, everything about that sequence was like, well, I've been here before. And it felt really rushed too. Like, it's just like, okay, yeah, let's get the murder of the father over with so we can get back to doing the other stuff that we wanted to. Oh well, you know, it's just so inconvenient having to murder fathers. So, let's see here. We've got a bunch of new quests. We can get a Lizard's Flask. And, let's see, anti-curse amulet. Three hunks platinum is easy enough. So we got a couple more of these. 3 more of them, actually. Alright. So I actually don't have any of the materials I need to do that, but I'm actually going to end things here for today. I've got to take a break because I need to get the house in order and all that jazz, so it's going to be an early day for me today. But next time we will probably start doing these missions, do some of these PAs, and all that jazz before we head on to continue with the plot. But we might not. We might just decide to continue with the plot immediately. I don't really know, because I won't know what kind of mood I'm in tomorrow until I get to that point. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure to stream for you today, and I hope to see you all again next time.